Hello, this is Joe Pearson, the project planner for this application. This is a request to the Planning Commission to approve a major modification and ministerial density bonus permit to allow for modifications to an approved project located at 2161 Edding Road. This project has been filed by Gustavo Amorosa of Cabrillo Economic Development Corporation, who are the applicant and the property owner. The project includes modifications to a previously approved 100% affordable apartment project developed under the All Affordable Housing Opportunity Program, or AAHOP, to increase the number of units from 42 units to 58 units. The modified project would allow for the construction of an all-affordable 58-unit apartment complex with associated site improvements on a 1.98-acre site and adjacent infrastructure improvements off-site. The modified apartment complex would include three-story connected buildings with 1 to 3 bedroom units ranging between 753 and 1,148 square feet in size. The project would also contain resident amenities including a community room, on-site laundry room, on-site management office, outdoor recreational amenities, and veteran and farm worker services. Additional on-site amenities include outdoor recreation areas for residents. The project will also be providing 88 vehicle and 3 motorcycle parking spaces. The requested density bonus permit would allow for a 20% density bonus, which would increase the maximum number of units that could be constructed from 48 to 58 units on site. In addition to the project concessions and waivers, which we'll go over later in this presentation, the project would also be able to take advantage of state density bonus parking requirements. Based on the state requirements, the project is only required to provide 77 parking spaces. However, the applicant will be providing 88 parking spaces for vehicles and 3 additional motorcycle parking spaces. Through the use of the city's AAHOP and state density bonus law, the applicant is requesting to waive, reduce, or modify 10 development standards related to projections into the front yard setback, open space requirements, storage, balcony size, parking, and parking lot design. However, many of these deviations were already included in the previously approved project. The project site is located at 2161 Edding Road in the city of Oxnard. The project site is currently vacant, and the project site is located in the Mar Vista neighborhood. The project site is generally surrounded by residential and cemetery uses, with Oxnard College and Mar Vista Elementary a short distance away. The project is located within the residential low-medium 2030 general plan land use designation and the multifamily affordable housing zone. The existing project entitlements were granted in 2018. The existing entitlements included a AAHOP development design review permit, which was approved on June 27, 2018, and was contingent upon the approval of an associated density bonus permit, which was approved by the Planning Commission on August 2, 2018. These entitlements allowed for the development of a 42-unit lower-income affordable apartment project and 4 connected structures around a recreation area and community room / learning center. This project also included 77 vehicle parking spaces and 5 motorcycle parking spaces for a total of 82 resident parking spaces. The existing entitlements are not set to expire until August 2nd, 2022. The approved entitlements included the approval of 9 concessions, waivers, or reductions to development standards not already included by its AAHOP designation. These include reductions to development standards associated with access, setbacks, balcony dimensions, unit storage size, open spaces, and parking. Many of these are again being requested with the modified project. This slide provides a comparison of the approved and modified project site plans. Generally, the overall layout has not changed, with the 3 buildings being constructed around an interior courtyard, which contains a seating area and play area. On the west side of the project, the open space area has been reduced, and building 3 has been pushed over to accommodate the additional parking provided in the tandem configuration. However, additional open space has been provided between buildings 2 and 3, which now contains the barbecue and seating area. This slide provides a comparison of the renderings of the approved and modified projects. As you can see, the 2 primary changes are the inclusion of the covered parking, and the buildings are now all 3 stories as opposed to having a mixture of 2 and 3 stories. This table shows the key changes between the 2 projects. As a result of the additional 16 units, the parking requirement has increased by 15 spaces based on today's density bonus parking requirements. The applicant is providing an additional 9 parking spaces, which still exceeds the required parking. The overall maximum building height has increased by approximately 6 inches. Interior yard space was reduced slightly to accommodate the additional parking and revised building configuration. And lastly, the number of bedrooms has increased by 14. The ground floor will mostly consist of residential units, with the exception of the west side of Building 3, which will contain the resident amenities, including the community center. Similarly, the second floor will consist of mostly residential units, with the exception of the west side of Building 3, which will also contain the Veteran Services offices. The third floor will consist solely of residential units, with a walkway connecting each of the buildings. The roof will be sloped around the perimeter of the building, with a flat section in the middle to allow for the installation of solar. Currently shown are the project's elevations. As previously stated, each of the buildings will be 3 stories. The proposed architecture is generally consistent with the architecture of the previously approved project. As discussed in the staff report, many of the policies identified, the project furthers many of the policies identified in the 2030 general plan by providing for a variety of housing choices, by providing farm worker and veteran housing, improving pedestrian access around the site. Additionally, the project is an infill project, so it's able to take advantage of existing infrastructure, which has been determined to be adequate through the DAC process. Like the approved project, the modified project would be developed under the multifamily affordable housing zone standards. As identified in the staff report, the project is consistent with the AAHOP attached dwelling unit standards and R2 standards, except as modified under the AAHOP and density bonus provisions. In accordance with AAHOP, the project is permitted to go up to 6 stories with a density of 24 units per acre. AAHOP allows for a reduction in the required parking as well. AAHOP also allows for one concession separate from the density bonus, which the project is using to reduce the driveway throat. The project is also requesting 10% reductions to 3 development standards. Both the requested concession and the reductions in development standards were previously approved under the currently entitled project. In addition to the AAHOP deviations, the project is requesting 6 deviations under the density bonus program. They include a reduction in the setback along Pleasant Valley, conversion of 3 finger planters to parking spaces, a reduction of interior yard space, and the elimination of 20 second-story balconies. Also, the project is requesting 2 waivers under the Housing Accountability Act to allow for hardscape to count as lawn area, and lastly, to allow for covered balconies to project in the required front yard setback area. In addition to the deviations, the project is also subject to the density bonus parking requirements with 1 space required for 1-bedroom units and 1.5 spaces required for 2 and 3-bedroom units. Based on the state requirements, the revised project is providing 14 excess parking spaces. The previously approved project was found to be exempt from CEQA under the Class 32 exemption for infill development. The modification to the approved project can also be found exempt under CEQA. The proposed project includes the addition of 16 units to a previously approved project and related site changes, as well as a ministerial density bonus permit. The proposed project will not expand the development area, and therefore there will be no additional impacts to surrounding properties. The project will be adequately served by all required utilities and public services. And as determined by a qualified biologist, the project is not habitat for endangered, rare, or threatened species. Additionally, this project will not result in any effects relating to traffic, noise, air quality, or water quality. No exceptions to the exemptions apply. Therefore, staff has determined that there is no substantial evidence that the project will have a significant effect on the environment. The project will be subject to various conditions of approval. Some of the key conditions limit the life of the project to 36 months from the date of approval, require a security plan and camera system, the payment of fees, a parking management plan, and an affordable housing agreement to ensure the continued affordability of the units for 55 years. Additional conditions will require a tree protection plan for the windrow as conditioned by the Cultural Heritage Board, implementation of the landscape plan as reviewed by a qualified biologist, a gurney-sized elevator, dust control during construction activities, and will implement a limited construction hours. Lastly, the conditions require that the Pleasant Valley driveway not be used for the general public and calls for pedestrian improvements along both Pleasant Valley and Edding Road. The modified project was presented at 3 community meetings in compliance with the AAHOP and city requirements. At the meetings, comments were mentioned regarding parking demand concerns, lack of affordable housing, traffic impacts, and compatibility with the existing neighborhood. Notice of the Planning Commission hearing has been posted on the site and mailed to all surrounding property owners within 300 feet. Based on the information provided in this presentation and associated staff report, staff recommends that the Planning Commission find the project to be categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act guidelines, section 15332 for infill development, and approve the resolution for the major modification and density bonus permit subject to certain findings and conditions provided in the resolution.